Things are not looking so great for the Democratic Party. This, according to a new poll done by the Washington Post and ABC News. They found that not only are Democrats incredibly unpopular with the electorate at this moment, the approval ratings for President Joe Biden are also pretty low. So among registered voters, the GOP advantage goes to 51% versus 41% for Democrats, a historically strong result for Republicans on this measure.
All right, so we're going to get straight into it today. We're going to talk about why the Democrats are in big trouble moving forward. We're going to talk polling numbers, the infrastructure bill, and some of the things that you can expect from that. So right now, the Republicans, in terms of generic ballot polling, are sitting at 51%. Democrats are at 41%. Only a handful of months ago, the Democrats were leading the Republicans by a handful of points. Joe Biden has a 41% approval rating. Kamala Harris has a 40% approval rating. And the Biden and Harris staffs are openly feuding with one another right now. And they're considering putting Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris at the front of the party ticket. And not only are they unpopular in the country in general, but they're also unpopular with the growing millennial and Gen Z base. So the infrastructure bill was originally supposed to be $6 trillion when Biden was running. Then it got talked to $3 trillion, and then it got talked down to $1.2 trillion, which is what Biden signed the other day. Now, one of the big issues with this is that states decide where the federal dollars go. Federal dollars, maybe if it's allocated for roads and bridges, get sent to the state. And since they have a limited amount of funds, naturally, that money's not going to go to low-income and minority communities. It's going to go to the communities that already have the resources, already have the political power and pull, and already have the money. And so that's a big issue that the Democrats face going forward, is that they do not deliver for the little man and the little woman, for the working man and the working woman. Because even though they pass these half measures, that money doesn't end up in the areas where it's most needed because there's limited funds. And so one of the good things, though, about the infrastructure bill is that it's calling for $5 billion to be put towards electrifying the school bus system. The United States has 500,000 diesel school buses that move 26 million children to and from school on a daily basis. Now, this contributes 5 million tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere every year. So not only would that reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but it would also be a benefit to the health of the children who ride and take the school bus system, who have to breathe in the fumes from the diesel. Now, this bill allocates $5 billion. The original proposal called for $20 billion. This bill shoots to make 10,000 electric buses. The original bill called to produce 10 times that amount. Now, but it's also important because these are the details. Out of that $5 billion, only $2.5 billion is going towards actually producing the electronic school buses. The other $2.5 billion is going towards clean buses, aka propane and natural gas, which obviously is not what we need all the way. But again, that's the power of corporate dollars in the system. So let's talk a little bit more about where, how much money is going where. So $110 billion is going to roads and bridges, $66 billion to improve Amtrak's Northeast Corridor, $65 billion for broadband internet access expansion, $65 billion to modernize the electric grid, $55 billion for water and sewage systems, $39 billion to expand public transportation systems, $25 billion to renovate airports, and $7.5 billion to make electric vehicle charging stations. Now, this is being paraded as such a historic feat. However, that's because the bar is low. And as I just explained to you, when you get talked down from $6 trillion all the way to $1.2 trillion, those funds are not going to go to the communities that need them most because they only have limited amounts of funds. But see, all of this is known, right? So basically, with low polling, not delivering fully on the infrastructure bill, and the fact that Republicans, when they're in office, they really ain't gonna do nothing about infrastructure because Republicans don't like spending money at all. They're not, and even more so than the Democrats. So this is about what we're going to get. So unless the Biden administration does something like legalize marijuana, eliminate student loan debt, raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, they're just not going to have any ammo, because the issue is that the reliable voting base is getting older and older, and the lower you go in terms of age, people aren't enthusiastic about showing up to the polls because we still trying to get it. You know, we're dealing with the mess that the older generations left us, with the economy that they left us. And so the people who are truly struggling, they feel, what's the point in participating? I'm telling you, the Democrats are in big, big trouble.